Hello, everyone, and welcome back to NFL Weekly Picks with your boy B Buck and Tom Ria Sports. Back like we never left, double dose for you tonight. We just dropped our NFL midseason recap video right before this, so please go check out the midseason recap video. And then now, this is our NFL Week 10 picks for you, like we do every Wednesday night. Tom, can you hear me, brother? How you doing?
I can hear you well. Double trouble, man.
That's
Let's
it.
get right into it. I'm excited.
That's it. Hey, no wasting no time. 4 teams on a bye this week, guys. So we got 14 games to go over. We got another early one Sunday morning, kicking us off NFL Week 10. With the Thursday night game is the Las Vegas Raiders, who were just in a fun game against the Jaguars and look competitive against one of the best teams in the league. Me and Tom said in the beginning it was ups and downs. Denver Broncos sitting pretty. Oh, look at this. You got a little screen sharing going on. Looking fancy. Guys, while I was pulling, oh wow, that's sick. You got the odds up there too. Dude, I like that. Yeah. All right. So division rivalry game Thursday night yet again. Here we go in Denver. Ooh, it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be at night. It's that time of the year, guys. It's getting down and dirty. Let's see what happens with all these teams. Broncos have looked good. Broncos have looked good. I think they get through the Raiders easily. At least that's my opinion. And guess what? I think it goes over 42.5. I know that defense is daunting, but the Raiders just put up, I think, 29 points, maybe 30 points last week against the Jaguars defense, which isn't bad. And I know the Broncos are capable of putting up 20 to 30 every week. I think this one does go over. I think it's closer than some people think. I really want to give the Raiders the 9.5, especially since the Broncos the last 2 weeks have kind of made a living out of winning games and pulling away in the second half of games, late third quarter to fourth quarter. I'm gonna give the Raiders the 9.5. I might that one I'm not too confident about, but I'm gonna give the Raiders the 9.5. You know how we feel about division rivalry games here, guys. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'm a little torn on this because 9.5's a lot. But also the Raiders, man. I picked them to win last week, if anyone remembers, and they were a freaking 2-point conversion away from pulling it off.
They went for it.
But ultimately, didn't get it done, didn't cover. I just worry about them on a short week after a tough loss. It is a division rival game. You do make a good point. I think the Broncos, they just played a really tough defense last week. But before that, they were high flying. They took advantage of bad defenses like the Giants and the Cowboys, and the Raiders are kind of another bad defense coming in here. So
True.
I think they'll do the same. I'm taking them minus 9.5. It's a bit risky with the division, but I think they're going to win this one by more than 10. So I like that spot there at home. I like the over 42.5. I think there'll be some points scored here, and I like the Broncos money line.
Broncos money line. All right, Atlanta Falcons at the Indianapolis Colts. But if I'm not mistaken, I think this game's in Spain. Where? Oh no, Berlin. It says right on the TV. It's actually in Berlin, Germany. Wow. Okay, so the Atlanta Falcons and the Colts go to Eastern Europe to play a game to represent American football out there. Falcons looking a little better last week against the Patriots of all teams. It was a pretty close game, and then the Colts coughing up a game to the Steelers. What do you think on this one, Tom? I'll let you go first. It's an interesting setup.
Yeah, it is an interesting spot. Well, the Falcons, you said this and it's perfectly said. They are the most unpredictable team in the NFL. They lost to the Panthers 30 to nothing. They got blown out by the Dolphins. And then if you watch that Patriots game, I watched it closely. They had no business being in that game. No business. They should have got blown the doors off, and they just got a bunch of sacks. They got the turnovers they needed. They managed to stay in the game. Drake London was incredible. I haven't seen anyone cook Christian Gonzalez like that, maybe ever in his career. So, with that being said, they still found a way to lose. They have a new kicker again. Their third one this year. Whoa. It's in Berlin. We finally gave Europe some decent football. It's about time, at least on paper. And I'm going to take the risk and go with the unpredictable team and take the Falcons plus 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take them here. I think the Colts will win this game, but I think the Falcons will just find a way to keep it relatively close. I am going to take the over 48.5 in this one. I think we'll, again, have some points scored here, and this will end up in like the 30 to 27 type of range. But I do think Colts are going to win this game. I think it'll be a little bit tighter than expected, but Colts will pull it out and they'll get the win. Technically at home, but obviously, as you mentioned, in Berlin. What do you got?
And you think the Colts win? Dude, I love that analysis because when I make my picks, I usually just look 1 week behind. I'm always in the what's happening now mindset. You know what I mean? I don't look too far ahead. I don't look too far back. A lot of teams ride momentum. You know, teams play very similar. If something works for them 1 week, they try it again next week until they change it up. I want to say the Colts win heavy, but the Falcons looked good. I can see almost just like these two teams, almost even on paper, but two amazing running backs, two okay defenses, you know, for whatever it's worth. QBs, whatever, but wide receiver, we'll give that to the Falcons because, like you said, London's done good. Pitt's having a decent year. I know Warren's having a good year. Two very good teams. Like you said, it's going to be a fun game to showcase American football over there. Is it too early to say the Colts were a fraud and we said in week 1 that Daniel Jones will show himself? I don't know. I don't know. If they lose this game and maybe next week, that's not a good look. If they lose this game,
No,
it's not a good look altogether. But with that said, Jonathan Taylor's been on a rampage. And hey, that Falcons defense isn't bad. So we'll see what happens. I'm actually going to go I'm going to go the same as Tom, but I'm going to give the Falcons the 6.5. I think last week, even though they lost, was kind of a momentum builder for them. Feed Bijan, you know what I mean? Feed London, do what you got to do. I want to almost take the under, but, you know, it is a showcase game. They want everyone to be happy over there. And then honestly, both teams are capable of putting up points. I know the Colts are probably averaging at least 28 points themselves per game this season. And then the Colts defense isn't necessarily the best, and the Colts offense is going to be tough to stop for the middling of the pack Falcons defense. I want to go under, but I am going to go over, and I'm going to take the Colts. Just like Tom said, I think it's a pretty close game. It's going to be a fun one. Moving
I
on.
thought you were going under that. Thought you were going under that.
I want to.
Respected it.
I want to. But you know what? It's two teams that are capable of putting up over 25 points each. So let's hope that's what happens. I like fun shootouts these days, even though I love defense. All right, we got Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. Guys, this is another fun one because Dolphins a few weeks ago actually looked decent, and then I know they had to play Lamar in his coming back game. Just couldn't get off the ball. Ravens defense turned up that game, so obviously it's a little tough for the Dolphins. Dolphins defense non-existent. I don't know, guys, because then on the other side of the coin, the Bills have looked a lot better recently. Even their defense has kind of stepped up a little bit. They just beat the Chiefs, which was very impressive. I'm going to take the Bills to win, but I am going to give the Dolphins the 9.5 points because a couple of weeks back, whenever it was, they played each other pretty tightly. I think it was that Thursday night game. As far as over under 50.5, just because it's a division rivalry game, not necessarily because of the offenses or defenses, I think it's a little high. I think it's a little high for a team that just put up 3 points last week against the Ravens. Let's not forget that either. So I'm going to go under 50.5. You know what I mean? Even if it ends at 24-10, 24-24, you know what I mean? 24-23. I don't know about 50.5. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you, except I'm going to take the Bills minus 9.5. Again, a little risky. Second minus 9.5 I'm taking, which I don't know if I love that between them and the Broncos, but I'm going to take Bills minus 9.5. I think that win against the Chiefs last week could spring load them to the end of this year of just winning and winning and winning and winning comfortably. I do worry about their defense, but it played much better than I anticipated last week versus Kansas City, so you got to give them some credit, although they were home. Now they're on the road, but the Dolphins are just, they're a mess. Their GM's gone now. They traded Jalen Phillips. They probably should have traded more if they could have, but ultimately, I'm going to take the Bills minus 9.5. I'm going to go the under with you as well. I think this spot ends up being like a 30-10 win for Buffalo, something like that, maybe 30-17. And I'm taking Buffalo money line in Miami.
Buffalo money line. Guys, Baltimore Ravens coming off a win. Lamar Jackson's back versing the Minnesota Vikings, who just beat the Lions. Wow, it's another fun game here for you. And the odds kind of reflect it. Almost a pick 'em. They do have the Ravens, who are on the road here, coming into Minnesota as 4.5-point favorites. Over unders 49.5. All right, ready for this one? Quick, crazy take on it. I'm going over 49.5. I think both these defenses are vulnerable, and both these offenses have star power on them. You know what I mean? Even with the Aaron Jones injury, whatever that's worth. I think it goes over 49.5. It's a bit of a shootout. and the Ravens sneak it out. I'm sorry, Vikings fans. I could see the Vikings winning this game, but Lamar over McCarthy could be the difference in this. I'll take the Ravens minus 4.5. What do you think, Tom?
Oof, man, I'm going to start with Ravens minus 4.5. I think they will win this game. I think they will win it by around a touchdown. The over-under's hurt me, man. I'm kind of feeling the under, but after watching the Ravens defense the last couple weeks, it has gotten better, but it also was, I guess, weaker competition, you could call it. I'm going to go ahead and say the under here. I'm going to go with the under 49.5. I think this one's going to be an interesting game, but I think it's going to end up in somewhere in the mid-40s. It's going to be close. It's going to be tight, but I like Baltimore on the road. I think this is the start of their run at the back end of the year, and I think they'll win this game by around a touchdown and maybe get some turnovers on McCarthy.
And so you got Ravens minus 4.5, Ravens money line, and the under 49.5, correct?
That's correct.
Mark Andrews, 4 touchdowns this week. I'm calling it.
I hope so.
Finding the fountain of youth. All right, guys, this one's really fun. Patriots Bucks. Guys, I'm gonna let him lead it off because Tom was the only dude I know who called before the season even started the Patriots rise to fame over here and rise to stardom and reverency in the NFL this year. What do you think of this Patriots at Tampa Bay Bucks game, Tom? Two of your teams.
I feel like I pick the Patriots every week. I love the Bucks too. I got a couple of their guys in fantasy. I'm definitely a big Bucks guy, and this one hurts because I got to go against one of the teams I've been rooting for. But going with Tampa minus 2.5 at home, coming off a bye. Big spot here, big game. Honestly, might be the game of the week. I love this game. I love this matchup, and I like Tampa at home to get it done. I like the over 48.5 as well.
Okay.
This one is going to be interesting because it might be one of those games where both defenses know they got to step up, and it kind of cancels each other out, and the offense doesn't score as much. It ends up being 20-17 or something weird like that. Don't be surprised, but I'm going to zag on that, and I think Tampa coming off a bye, getting healthy. Patriots have been playing super well lately. I think some points are going to be scored here, maybe even like a pick six from one of these gunslinging quarterbacks. But I like the over, and I like Tampa at home. I think they're going to get it done, but this should be a fun game, and I'm really, really excited to watch it. What do you got?
Dude, you know what's so funny that you took them, man? I think Booty, their wide receiver, might be hurt. I'm not sure his status. I know Mike Evans is out for a while. For this to be game of the week, and it definitely should be game of the week, you would think, oh, why wouldn't the over-under be 52, 53, high-scoring, 2 great QBs? Because, guys, we're looking at 2 very decent defenses, too. You know what I mean? And honestly, the Bucs defense has turned up recently, too. I want to take the Patriots. I feel like they're almost less injured than the Bucs, and they should win. I know it's on the road in Tampa Bay, so right away they're probably getting a few points. But I think the difference maker in this game is going to be the way the Buccaneers defense has played, guys. Even in a bad loss to the Lions, they had a whole bunch of turnovers. They looked all right. I think Ibuka's back. I'm not sure what's going on. They might have Bucky Irving back this week, and they're at home. So I like the Bucs in this spot. I'm gonna give this now. I always say, let's never a cop out. This is such an even game, and I like them that I'm actually gonna give the Patriots the 2.5. Maybe it'll be a close game like last week's was against the Falcons. Maybe both will hit. I think the Buccaneers win. I think the Patriots do keep it close. That's my reasoning for those 2 picks. As far as over under 48.5, I mean, hey, the last few games these teams have played have been pretty high scoring, including the Falcons-Patriots one. So I'll go over. I'll go over 48.5. Ride with my man Tom on that one. And hope for a high-scoring, fun game between these 2 East Coast teams. That should be fun. All right, guys. New York Giants traveling to Chicago, the Windy City, to take on the Bears. And I heard it might be windy that game. Bears pulling one out against the Bengals. Look good, but this line kind of represents it. You never know what Bears team's going to show up. The Giants, they just lost, but they put up, I think, 20, maybe 20-something, maybe 30 almost against the 49ers. Obviously, the Bears just let up a whole bunch of points to the Bengals. You just never know what Bears team is going to show up. Something in my heart, no rhyme or reason, is saying give the Giants the 4.5 no matter what. This line scares me a little bit because for whatever reason I think the Giants can win this game. With that said, I would think the Giants wouldn't want to win this game because if they lose a few more and playoff contention is just eliminated altogether, you might as well go for the draft pick. But I think the Giants could win this game, guys, and pull it out. I'm going to give them the 4.5. I'm actually going to take the over 46.5 against two of these vulnerable defenses. I think these two young, fun QBs can put up at least 21 to 23 points each, maybe go over that 46.5. But I'll take the Bears to win at the end. Maybe they win by a field goal, because the Bears have squeaked out a lot of games this year on some lucky stuff. So that wouldn't even be out of the realm of possibility. What do you think, Tom?
Man, I'm going to zag a lot here. I'm taking the Bears minus 4.5. I think they know that this is a game they have to win to make the playoffs.
That's true.
The Giants' season's over. They're not making the playoffs. They got so many guys banged up. They're 2-7 at this point. Their coach and GM are likely going to be gone at the end of the year. They're kind of just like playing with fire here. Dart's got almost zero weapons to throw to. I don't like anything about where the Giants are right now. I think their future's bright. I think if they get a good coaching staff and GM in there next year, make some good decisions up top, they got the roster pieces once everyone's back and healthy. But right now, it's tough sledding, throwing to Darius Slayton and these guys, just not where you want to be as an offense. And their defense is, I think, just so poorly coached with all the talent they have on the front four. But yeah, that being said, rant aside, Bears minus 4.5 at home. I think they get it done, and I like the under. I think it's going to be a weird game. You mentioned the wind being a factor.
Yeah, that is true.
I think there's not going to be a ton of points scored here. Could be wrong. Definitely a bit of a risky one there, but I just, for some reason, something's telling me it's going to be a lower scoring game. The Bears are going to just win pretty comfortably, like 27-17 type of vibe. And I'm taking the Bears at home on the money line.
That is how it went when they versed the Saints a few weeks back. Caleb didn't really have to do much. I think it ended like 17-3 or something like that. It was a pretty low scoring game.
Team on the road too. They've scored a lot of points at home, but other than the Denver game, they've really struggled scoring points on the road. So we'll see how that goes.
That's true. All right, guys. Speaking of, moving on to the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. Dude, I feel like I say it every week. The Saints have had a tough schedule and the way it's played out for them. They just took on the LA Rams, got whomped on, and now they have to go into Carolina to take on their rival, who's honestly second in the division, not playing too bad. As much as I want to give them the 5.5 as a division rival, and the Saints have played pretty competitively throughout the year with whatever they're given, they just traded away Shaheed. Kamara had no yards at all after 8-10 carries last game. Their defense is what it is. Panthers have looked better. I think the Panthers should win this one handily. I actually kind of like this spot. If you got the money, Panthers money line. I don't want to jinx it. You know how I feel about division rivals. Anything can happen, but Panthers are at home. They're riding hot a little bit. I feel like they should win this game. Over under 39.5. I'm actually going to take the Panthers minus 5.5 too in this spot. I like that. Guys, over under 39.5. I don't feel like either of these teams are the kind to be like, oh, we won, let's put it away. They have been running it a lot with Rico Dowdle, so maybe they try and burn some clock and just get enough to win. And that defense isn't too bad with the corners either, so maybe they stonewall the Saints until max 10 points. But I'm actually going to go over. I'm just hoping that the Saints can somehow put up 10 to 12 points, and then the Panthers could put up maybe 24 points or something like that. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you here. Just to move quickly, I'm going to say I like the Panthers minus 5.5 at home. It's a huge win last week. Now, this does have a trap alert coming up in my head when I see this. A lot of times when a team gets a huge road win, they come back and they have a letdown. But I think because they're in a home spot against a rookie QB who doesn't really look too special to this point, they should win this game relatively comfortably. So I like Panthers minus 5.5. I like the over 39.5. And I like the Panthers money line at home for them to move to 6-4 and put some pressure on the Bucs in that division.
That's true. All right, guys, moving on. We got, I think, the combined for 2, maybe 3 wins. Cleveland Browns taking on the New York Jets in New York. And the Browns are favorites as the road visiting team. Jets got one done for Mangold against the Bengals. And now the Browns, the defense still has its pieces, but the offense is whatever. I think Judkins might be coming back this week. Guys, I'm going to throw a crazy curveball here. Jets, they only have 1 win this season, but they have put up points. So I'm actually going to give the Jets the 2.5. I think if there's ever a game they could win, this might be it. Maybe being at home helps them. Maybe the last win gives them a little motivation for whatever that's worth. I don't know if playoffs are in their sights, but I'm going to take the Jets to win at home. There you go, Jets fans. I'm giving you one. I know the Browns' defense isn't bad, and obviously they have a star running back in their backfield with a promising future. But I'm actually going to take the over 37.5 here. Say it every week, guys, when we see these. When you see it over under that low, usually it goes under. Everyone's first thought is, oh, I'm going to go over, easy money. You got to be very careful with that. You got to study both teams. Only reason I like this over is because I feel like the Jets are capable of putting up points with Fields and letting up points for whatever that's worth. And I think they just trade away their top corner. So maybe that goes over 37.5 and they sneak one out, and I'm right on my picks. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'm having a tough one here because you're right. They just traded Sauce. They just traded Quinnen Williams, their top corner, their top D tackle. Not really a great sign for a team. But the Browns also aren't anything special, and it's in New York, which I think favors the Jets, obviously. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take the Jets plus 2.5. I'm going to take them plus 2.5 at home, coming off a bye. I'm going to take the under 37.5 as well. I think this is going to be a really ugly, weird scoring game, and I think the Jets are going to win. I think if this was in Cleveland, I would feel differently, but I feel like we're going to get ourselves a 16-13 type of game, something like that.
Wow.
And I like the Jets to get the win at home.
Dude, you know what? Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to write down that score, 16-13, because I can see that happening too. If you get that right at the end, that's crazy. All right, guys, moving on. The last 1 o'clock game, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them this week because there's 4 teams on a bye and there's a Sunday morning game. So, parlay fans, do with that whatever you will. Jacksonville Jaguars on the road coming off of just squeaking out a win at the Raiders, taking on the Houston Texans, who might be without C.J. Stroud this week, guys, with concussion. Davis Mills playing for whatever he filled in for the rest of that game last week, and he might be playing this week. Just keep an eye on C.J. Stroud's status. Nevertheless, division rivals, pretty good teams that up to this point. How the mighty have fallen. They were just favorited against the Niners, beat them. They were favored against the Ravens, I believe, beat them. And now they're underdogs at home against the Jaguars, who are without both their wide receivers. And, kind of started the season hot and cooled off a little bit. I like the Jaguars. I do. I like their offense and I like their defense. But I feel like the Texans are capable of winning this game, even with Mills at QB. So I'm going to take the Texans to win. Pound it out. Great defense. They had a tough time against the Raiders last week, and the Texans just beat the Niners and whatever before that. So I know they just lost to the Broncos, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they barely lost to the Broncos. So, hey, Texans have been playing some pretty competitive teams, pretty good. I like the Texans as underdogs here at home, getting the 1.5 points. As far as over under 37.5, I'm not too worried about the Jaguars defense anymore. I know one of their top linebackers punched someone last week, so I don't know if he's suspended for this game as well. But I think it can very well go over 37.5. It's a little worrying. I have like 5 overs in a row, and a lot of the low-scoring games I have going over. But I can definitely, the Raiders-Jaguars game just put up like 50, 60 points combined. I can see this one going over. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'm with you. All three. I like the Texans at home, even with Davis Mills. Their defense might be the best in football. I mean, I don't know how much you've watched them, but they are physical. They are nasty. They are well coached. I mean, it is not the defense's fault they're in this position, that's for sure. So I like the Texans plus 1.5 at home, even with Mills. I think Mills is capable. I like the over 37.5. I think they'll be able to score a few points, and Jaguars can still get a touchdown or two there. I expect this to be somewhere around like the 24 17 type of range. And then I like the Texans money line at home. I feel really good about that.
That's it. Shout out to Miko Ryans. We're giving him his props. All right, first NFC West game of the slate. Both of them in the 4 p.m. slate of games. Arizona Cardinals coming off a win against the Cowboys on Monday night. Pretty cool for them. They might keep Brissett in as QB. Ride the hot hand. Taking on the red-hot Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. These teams always play each other close. They really do. And you know what? I think points will be scored. I'll take the over 45.5. But I think the Seahawks beat the Cardinals. I think they squeak one out. I want to give this. I'm going to give the Cardinals the 6.5. I'm not sure if they've played already this season. I don't want to waste time. I'm going to see how
They
this.
did. They did on Thursday night. Seahawks hit a game-winning field goal.
Okay, so see, the Cardinals covered there. I'm going back to even last year when I picked the Cardinals and the Seahawks won. Then I picked the Seahawks and the Cardinals won. These teams have a history of playing each other very close. So I'm giving the Cardinals a 6.5. Hopefully that doesn't jinx me, but I do like the over 45.5, and I do like the Seahawks to win more than I like the Cardinals getting the 6.5. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, man, I'm tough on this just because I think the Seahawks defense against Brissett can give him a lot of problems. In Seattle too, Seattle's a good home crowd. I know they were close, but that was also with Kyler playing. It was early in the season. Seattle's just, I think when they're playing at their best, man, they can blow anybody out. So I like Seattle minus 6.5 at home here. I like the over 45.5, and I like Seattle to win. And I just think they're going to win this one relatively comfortably. I think Brissett and the Cardinals had a big win last week against Dallas. That was great, but I think they're going to get brought back to earth here against Seattle in a tough divisional matchup.
What do you think about the Detroit Lions going in to take on the beat-up Washington Commanders, who just lost their QB for possibly the season?
Yeah, not a good spot for Washington. Like I said, I picked them to regress this year. Didn't even really think it'd be injuries. Just thought their defense was old. Thought their offense was a bit overrated. They peaked last year. Good for them. But Detroit coming off a tough loss, well coached, going on the road, knowing this is a game you pretty much have to win. I think they'll win it, and they'll win it comfortably. I like Detroit minus 7.5. I do like the over 49.5. Wow. I just don't think the Commanders can score some points with Mariota, knowing that he's going in as a starter. So I think the score will be relatively high here, but I like the Lions to win by more than 7.5. What do you got?
Dude, I'm with you all the way across the board. I definitely feel confident about the Lions winning. I think, like you always say, if there's ever a game they know they have to get a win, especially for how close that NFC North is right now, this is definitely one of them. I can see them winning by 14. I don't really see why not. Well, if they're on, mind the weather. It is in Washington outdoors, so we all know the Jared Goff thing. As far as the over under 49.5, I feel like Mariota was winning more games with them than with Daniels for the time being. Even though he was rusty and he was injured most of the season, Commanders are capable of putting up points. We know the Lions can, and that Commanders defense isn't too great this year, so I'll go over 49.5 with you on that one. I could see it just being a crazy shootout. LA Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. I'll go first because I feel like Rhea's going to have a more in-depth dive on this one. I'm a Niners fan. Niners beat the Rams on the road. Now it's back in San Fran, or Santa Clara, I should say. They beat them on the road earlier in the season. Not by a lot, but just by enough on the Thursday night football game. Two different teams now. Niners getting a few pieces back, but they're still a little beat up. Please keep in mind with Purdy's situation, I think he's a better QB, but he's going to be rusty when he comes back. And when he came back to play against the Jaguars, he threw 2 or 3 picks. I know he threw 2 touchdowns, but it doesn't matter. We still ended up losing the games. The 49ers lost to the Jaguars with Purdy playing. They might ride the hot hand here with Jones, but Rams are going to be pissed. Pissed off after that first loss. And they know this is for first place in the NFC West right now. So I think the Niners can squeak it out. Just keep feeding McCaffrey. Do what they got to do. It's going to be up to that defense to just hold them to maybe 24 points. I know the Rams are going to put up 24. So I'm actually going to take the over 49.5. Rams are the heavy favorites here, even on the road in San Fran. So just because of that, I do like the Niners getting the points at home. With that said, Rams, dangerous team, and this should be a fun one for both teams. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'm going to go a little different here, and this is purely gut. I'm taking the Niners plus 4.5. I love that number at home with or without Purdy, whether it's Jones, Purdy. They already beat him in LA. I do agree that Rams are going to come in with a vengeance and know that this is a really important game for their divisional stakes, their season. But I feel like Shanahan's kind of gotten the better of McVay for the most part, other than a couple playoff games here and there. But I like the Niners plus 4.5. I like the under in this game, which might end up blowing me, really shoot me in the foot at the end of the game, and it might end up being a 30 to 27 or something really high. But I don't know. Something's weird to me about this whole spot where I feel like it's going to be a tight one, and it's going to be lower to mid-scoring where we hit the under here. But I do like the Rams on the road. I think the Rams are going to squeak out a win. I think it's going to be like 24-21, something like that. But I think the Rams are going to win this one on the road, but I do expect the Niners to cover, and I think it's going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game than anticipated.
Dude, 100%. Two very close teams that game plan to play each other twice a year. The Niners, I know they just played the Giants, but they let up a lot of points in that game. They weren't putting up too many overs with Mac Jones there. He was just doing enough, and the defense somehow was doing very good. Shanahan and Sal were game planning, so it could definitely go under that very high number of 49.5. We will find out. All right, moving on from that game is the Sunday night football for Week 10, 2025 NFL season, is the Pittsburgh Steelers just beating the Colts, taking on the LA Chargers, who have just done enough to win in recent weeks. And this line shows it here, guys. This is a fun game, man. Me and you with those Chargers. We started hot. We were riding them. Then they lost a couple games. And don't get me wrong, we picked against them a few times, but then we went back to picking them, and they helped us out again. So, they got the new tight end there. It is what it is. Herbert has a lot of mouths to feed. I think Hampton's kind of coming back soon. Probably won't be this week. As far as the Steelers, defense looked a lot better last week. The offense, they're doing their thing too. I almost want to just give the Steelers the 3 and take the Chargers, but I'm actually going to do something crazy here. I'm going to take the Chargers at home, Sunday night football, maybe with the lights on. Harbaugh calls a good game. Herbert, don't turn that ball over. Win the game in LA against the tough Steelers, and I think they win by more than 3. A classic Chargers showing this week. If the defense does their thing and the offense keeps feeding all their superstars on offense, Chargers win by more than 3 at home. As far as over-under 45.5, both these offenses are capable of putting up over 23 points. So I kind of like the over, even for a primetime game, which I feel like sometimes those come back to bite me. What do you think, Tom?
All right, well, I agree with you on the over. You can circle that for me. I like the over 45.5 in this spot. In the LA and indoors, 2 good quarterbacks, 2 capable offenses, and good coaching. But ready? Gonna zag. I'm going with the Steelers.
Ooh.
I like them plus 3 coming off of their biggest win of the season against the Colts at home. I worry about the Chargers without Joe Alt. Still no Amari and Hampton. Quentin Johnson hasn't been the same. And I like the Steelers money line. I think they go in LA. I think their fan base takes over that stadium.
That's
and
true.
I think they get that win. And I think the Steelers get 2 in a row here that are big wins. And then inevitably they'll lose a game here and there, and they'll finish 9-8 just to make Mike Tomlin more than happy. But for the time being, not looking too far ahead, I think Steelers get this win. And I think they win on the road, and it's going to be a relatively high-scoring game.
That's a fun AFC tough-nosed team matchup to close out Week 10 of the NFL 2025 season. 2 teams that end in ERS. Come on, what gets better? All right, Monday Night Football is the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Green Bay Packers, coming off their bye. And then the Packers just lost last week to the Panthers, I believe. So, Packers one of those teams, too. You never know who's going to show up every week. Tom, I'm going to let you go first on this one because we were just talking about this spread, bro. And I know it's come back to bite us before. We said the same thing about the Ravens-Chiefs. We said the same thing about the Lions, I believe, one of the Lions games. And somehow they lost. But how do you feel about the Eagles being underdogs here?
Yeah, I like the Eagles on the road. Coming off the bye, Packers just had a loss versus the Panthers. I know it's in Green Bay. It's a tough place to play at night. Going to be cold, all that stuff. But Philly's built for it, man, and they're coming off a bye. They're working some things together. They're probably going to get some guys back healthy. They just got Jalen Phillips, which is a great pickup for them. I expect him to play in this game. I love them plus 2.5. They're still 6-2 defending champions,
Yeah.
right? Like, this Packers team is weird. They just lost Tucker Kraft now. Golden's hurt. Watson's back. He'll probably get hurt at some point. Unfortunately, knock on wood, I hope it doesn't happen, but he gets hurt all the time. I just don't trust the Packers, man. They lost to the Browns. They should have lost to the Cowboys. They lost to the Panthers. Weird team. Just a weird team. So, I like the Eagles plus 2.5 on the road. I like the under, believe it or not. I actually am going to take the under. I think these are two really good defenses that play well in a big game, in a big spot on the bright lights. And I like Eagles money line on the road. I feel like I've taken a good amount of plus money lines this week. We'll see if it works or not. But definitely like them as an underdog. And anytime I see a 6-2 team at home or not as an underdog, you got to at least take a long look at that, you know? So, coming off a bye, too, I like the Philly here. And if you didn't see Jordan Love's pass in the end zone against the Panthers the other day, go watch that, because you'll get a good laugh. And I'm not a Jordan Love hater, but I'm also not one to sugarcoat when I see some terrible throws, and he consistently, week after week, just chucks some balls up for grabs. So, if he does that again here, I don't think it's going to end well for Green Bay. So,
dude, they definitely...
Going with Philly.
Going with Phil. You know what, guys? While I do that, is Barkley playing? Is he healthy? Is he good?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, he should be good, especially after the bye. Dude, you know what, man? Packers have a couple funny losses, very questionable losses this year. And the Eagles, I feel like, should win this game, guys. Not really sure what's up with this line. Maybe they know something we don't. Keep an eye on the weather. Obviously, it's a nighttime November Green Bay game. But the Eagles should win, guys. The Eagles should win this game. I'm going to give them the 2.5 on the road. We're going to see how it plays out. I know my Monday night picks haven't been my forte. Recently they have, but not, throughout the whole season they haven't. But I feel kind of confident about the Eagles should win this game. Only difference is I'll take the over. You know, I know there is a lot of injuries on that Packers offense, and their defense might show up, but I'll take the over for whatever that's worth. Before this video ends, confident picks. Mr. Tom's confident picks this week, guys. We got Bills money line, Buccaneers minus 2.5 against the Patriots. Oh boy, that's a fun one. Ravens money line, where they at? Right here against the Vikings. I like that one. That's his 3 confident picks, the little stars of the confidence. Mine, ready for my third one, Tom? We got Seahawks Cardinals over 45.5. We got Broncos money line. Where they at? Oh, sorry, way up here. Wow, Thursday Night Football. Broncos money line. All right, guys, and then a fun one for you. Panthers minus 5.5 against their division rivals at home, winning by more than 5.5. Guys, good luck like always to NFL Week 10 of football throughout the season in general. I hope everything's good in your lives. I hope everything's good with your families, your NFL teams. It's only going to get better. Please be careful in these games. It's a tough slate of games. Love doing this every week. Please like, subscribe, share. Guys, last week someone commented on it, and I accidentally couldn't find his email. If you want to win the sweepstakes, the $30 giveaway to put in a parlay of your own, just be the first to comment down below. Any of our 3 picks. Say, oh, I like Tom's Falcons plus 6, Bucks Ravens minus 4, Tom's Bucks minus 2.5. Put that in the comments. Say, I like those 3 picks from our video. And if you send us your email with it, I'll delete the email at the end if I can't get in touch with you. We'll Venmo or Zelle you $30 to put the parlay in yourselves, to show our appreciation for watching our videos. Thank you so much. Tom, what do you have to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, guys, like, comment, subscribe. We want to hear from you. We want to hear everything. And, yeah, somebody claim that $30. It's free. It'll help with your parlays, your straight bets, your prop bets, whatever you want to go with. So, hopefully we hear from you guys soon, and give us some contact information so we can reach out and send it to you. And remember, bet with your head, guys, not over your head.
That's it.
Have a great week. Best of luck. Love doing this, and we'll be talking soon.
Tom from the Dungeon of Darkness over there, guys. We're signing off. Good luck in Week 10. Love you guys. See you again next week. Don't forget to check out our mid-season recap video as well.
Take care, everybody.